health and personalised health in general, because we both attended a really interesting lecture, I think, last year, talking about using AI and personalised data to plug into basically a broader health outcome for people, in that they carry their personal data with them. They'll carry their genome on their phone, and then when they see a new healthcare practitioner, they'll be able to basically download all of this kind of personalized structural information to whoever they're seeing. And then we now, in 10 years, are able to allow an AI to basically, look at the molecular targets genetically for them. I mean, in some cases, and especially, big shout out to Peter Adamo, who's created pretty much one of the most amazing platforms I've ever seen in DataPunk. You're able to actually plug in someone's genome and say, okay, well, we have multiple options for TNF alpha, for example, but I think on the basis of your genome and what we're looking at, curcumin's going to be the best option out of those options for you and your health history, how we've seen your brain and all of these other things. And it's going to be a fascinating next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, it would be good to talk about the DNA reports and the different ones and which ones, offer what and for what price at some point. But just again to say wow to Peter Adamo's work and the Opus 23, their DNA ones that can be provided through, I'll give a plug for Invivo, because they do a lot of good testing for us, don't they, here in Hong Kong.
That's right.
It can be done through them, and it's like after you're looking at 3,500 SNPs, it's got this pie chart of how important different nutrients could be for this patient.
Yeah.
And it's like, the width of each section of the pie gives you a good idea of how significant it is across multiple genes for this particular individual. And that's like, oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's like it's really taken a lot of the hard mental work out of the whole process.
Exactly. And, I think there's, in the broader elements of this as well, one of the interesting parts about this, and I'm not, whether or not you can comment on this, all of the successful CFS cases that I've seen over the years, or, one in particular that I think of, 10 years ago, they've all had to take the reins of their health. And you could probably say this for a broader sense in successful outcomes of people with chronic illness, but they've all had to take the reins at some stage and take a huge personal interest in their own health. And they've all had to actually take that interest to a next level where, like, okay, what responsibility as a patient can I have in that I know that, for example, these nutrients are something that I'm going to have to take personal responsibility in managing a level of consistency, for example, in that I'm going to take curcumin for a long time. I'm going to take B vitamins for a long time. And that actually now means that the relationship, on this old relationship between the healthcare practitioner and the patient, is actually changing, in that no longer is it a dictatorial kind of thing where it's like you do what I say, well, and that's it. But we now need to work together with our patients a lot more, because that kind of enrollment from the patient's point of view is actually really now going to be a game changer.
Yeah, the education side is really important. And the understanding of what particular individual support someone needs. And as you're saying, people are playing a very important, the patients are playing a very important role in that, giving you feedback and helping you determine exactly what they do need if you haven't got the data. For instance, just to give you an idea, curcumin doesn't do so well for me because I've got this MAOA like twist.
Sure.
And so
the same problem.
and it's like, okay, no, it doesn't actually help me too well, and it actually is something I've got to not do. So just as a kind of an idea of how useful this data gets to be down the track. Physicians know of it in relation to the CYP and how various of the drugs used overload certain CYPs, and then people have a fluctuating level of certain drugs as a result. The same idea with many of the SNPs, and the way to individualize eventually is to get that data, and it is kind of mind-boggling when patients wander in with a set of reports, and one of them is a DNA report, and they've given you a stool report and this and the other. And it's like, okay, great, I know where we're up to, and see the big picture and see what's missing, and you can make big advances for people who've got all that data ready for you. It's nice.